Alrighty. Down. Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest live stream. I hope everybody's having a good evening so far. This is the first live stream that I've had in over a month. It felt like just yesterday I was live, but we are now live for the first time in over a month. I hope everybody's had a fantastic Thanksgiving and obviously happy holidays. The Christmas season is coming up as well as Hanukkah. I hope everybody's having, though, a fantastic week so far. We do have a lot to talk about actually in this live stream. It's going to be a very packed live stream. We have a lot to talk about in terms of severe weather. We have a massive cool down coming this week. We also have a big blizzard that's going to be happening across the northern and central plains. Eventually some snow will be going to the Midwest and as well as New England. So this will be a very packed live stream. I would almost guarantee that every one of you sees some sort of different weather pattern this week because it is a large scale trough that is going to bring a lot in terms of weather. Before we get too far into this, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe if you've not already. Let's first begin with what's happening here across the United States right now, and I finally got my pen out. Again, my computer crashed for some reason. I am not sure why, but we are finally here, and I had to open up all these tabs, by the way. I have about 40 tabs open for this live stream. It's more than I had on my last one in terms of a discussion. So let's first begin, though, with what's happening here across the United States. Currently, the trough that is expected to bring the severe weather, along with the blizzard, is still back out to the west, but this will be moving off to the east here over the next 24 hours. It will eventually move over the central plains, where it will eventually bring the potential for a lot of snow across the northern and central plains. It'll bring also the big severe weather event that's expected tomorrow across from Texas all the way back through the Mississippi Valley and as well as even into Florida by the end of this week. So it's going to be a really big system, and I'll kind of give you a full breakdown here in just a second on what to expect. First, beginning with tonight, there's actually a potential for severe weather tonight, and that's going to include areas in Oklahoma as well as the panhandle of Texas, goes into northwest North Texas, and it also goes through Kansas for the potential for maybe some damaging winds. Can't rule out a couple of tornadoes as well, and as well as maybe a couple of storms producing up to quarter-sized hail. Current tornado threat for tonight from the Storm Prediction Center does put this area from about western Oklahoma all the way through Kansas and then to northwestern North Texas in that 5% category for a tornado potential. So we'll have to watch this area closely. Again, I wouldn't expect anything long-tracked or strong tonight. Tomorrow, though, is when we could see that threat of long-tracked and as well as strong tornadoes across areas like Louisiana into western Mississippi as well as eastern Texas. We'll have that potential tomorrow. There's also a little 2% chance outside of there. Again, that's for a potential for maybe an isolated tornado. Going into the following day, this will include for those really from Texas all the way back through Mississippi, there is a slight risk for severe weather. It doesn't again include North Texas. There is also an enhanced risk of severe weather, which almost looks like a bean. But this is the area that we're going to probably have our greatest potential for severe weather. I wouldn't rule out a moderate threat getting upgraded at this point. There's definitely a possibility for that. And where that might happen would basically be where this orange shaded area already is. So there's a possibility for that, but otherwise, if it doesn't happen, we're still talking about the potential for some significant severe weather tomorrow afternoon across areas from East Texas all the way back through central and northern Mississippi. It does include Shreveport as well as into extreme western and southwestern portions of Mississippi. Outside of there, there's still a slight risk for severe weather. It does extend from the Metroplex in North Texas all the way back through central and southern portions of Arkansas, and it does include actually the entire state of Louisiana. I would expect Louisiana to be the greatest impacted from the severe weather event tomorrow. So for those that are just outside of there, you might still see some severe weather, but the greatest impacts do seem to be most likely going to occur either in far eastern Texas or into Louisiana. Now, the tornado threat for now, it might get upgraded, but again, for right now, there is a hatched area. It does include central and northern Louisiana, does go through East Texas as well. This is for that potential for, again, a few tornadoes. A couple of those may be strong or long tracks. So this will be the area to watch for very closely for a significant tornado potential tomorrow. Outside of there, there's the 5% range, which goes into Texas and southeast Oklahoma. It is a fairly large area tomorrow, so we are still talking about that potential for tornadoes in a very vast area, actually. Again, this is a huge area in terms of population and as well as square mileage, so we'll have to watch this region very closely. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that this morning threat will go across Texas and as well as into Oklahoma, so this region here is more of a morning threat. The afternoon afternoon will be where we see the rest of this tornado potential, which will be from Arkansas back through Louisiana and as well as into Mississippi and far east Texas. So that is the main concern for right now in terms of the tornado threat. Let's go over to the damaging wind threat as well. This is the damaging wind concern. Highest threat, again, is going to be there in Louisiana. For those in North Texas, which I know have a lot of viewers from North Texas, this is the region where we'll probably see more of a damaging wind threat. So if you're over in North Texas or southern or southeast Oklahoma, damaging winds a bigger concern. Can't rule out, again, an isolated brief tornado, but nothing long track there. All right, let's go into the timing, beginning with North Texas, and this will be kind of an hour-by-hour play. We'll also do the other states here in just a moment, but overnight tonight we'll have a line of storms beginning to develop. This will develop across Oklahoma, and it will extend all the way through Abilene and San Angelo by the overnight hours, so around 2 to 3 a.m. So this will be an overnight threat back into areas like Texas and Oklahoma. By 4 to 5 o'clock, this line will move off to the east. Now, I wouldn't expect severe weather to be that significant if you're in the DFW Metroplex. I know this is a very populated area. Damaging winds is still my main concern if any storms do remain severe by the time this line arrives. Otherwise, a brief tornado is still possible, but this line should just weaken enough by the time it reaches the Metroplex, and it's due to the fact that instability will start to kind of shrink as we get closer to the morning hours, since daylight heating obviously will not be much of a factor at this point. So one thing to kind of note there is that this line will probably weaken as it gets closer to the Metroplex, but again, still take it seriously, make sure you have a plan in place just in case, and have a way to receive alerts, because severe weather is not impossible here. I mean, there is still a slight risk of severe weather, but this line of storm should weaken by the time it gets there. By 9 to 10 a.m., this line will move a bit further off to the east, so areas like Paris, Texas, Waco, back through Tyler, Texas, will eventually start to see some storm activity. Most of it will probably be strong at this point. Can't rely on an isolated severe storm or two, though, as that line continues to track out to the east. And eventually, there will be a threat there in East Texas for severe weather. And we'll actually get to that here in just a second. Let me go to Oklahoma. I was going to do Oklahoma timing as well. Then we'll go over to the east. This is a look at the Oklahoma timing for tonight. Storms won't really fire up until at least 8 o'clock. So we might see an isolated, discrete cell or two develop back over in the Oklahoma Panhandle, maybe in southwest Kansas, for the potential for isolated damaging winds or hail. Can't rule out a brief tornado with one of those cells. By 10 to 11 o'clock, we'll have a big eruption of storms across areas in the eastern Texas Panhandle and just west of Elk City and Oklahoma. By 1 a.m., it will become basically a huge cluster of storms. So most of this will be damaging winds, but again, I can't rule out a brief tornado threat. By the morning hours, by 3 to 4 a.m., we'll have the storms rolling through areas like Oklahoma City, goes through about Interstate 35, and as well Stillwater, and also Tulsa will begin to see some of that storm activity overnight tonight. By tomorrow morning, by the time you're waking up, storms will already be shifted off to the east into portions of eastern Oklahoma, and then a bunch of colder air will usher in behind this. So those in central and western Oklahoma will have a bit of a more chilly day than what you've probably seen over the last several days when that cold front does pass tomorrow morning. All right, let's talk about Louisiana and East Texas timing, because this is the area that will have probably the most significant severe weather tomorrow. I don't expect much in terms of activity tomorrow morning. For the most part, it's just going to be a couple of showers, maybe an isolated storm or two. It will not be anything that significant. However, there will be definitely an increasing amount of severe weather as early as 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, even across areas like central Louisiana, where the cold front hasn't even approached by this time. There might be a chance for a couple of storms to develop out in front of that cold front. These could produce the potential for maybe an isolated tornado or two. So watch this area pretty closely if you're in central or southern Louisiana. Back out to the west near Shreveport, as well as center and into East Texas. That's where we'll begin to have some storms firing up during the afternoon hours as well. By 3 o'clock, look at the HRR model. This is a very interesting little look here. You can probably kind of pick out a lot of these cells here that are like kind of have these little hooks, and it's quite interesting that the HRR model picks up on this, but a lot of these actually have that little hook shape. That at least gives you a representation of what we could see tomorrow in terms of rotating supercells, and this is a very good look at it. Thank you Proxima for the $25 super chat. I'll get to that here in a second, but this is a very interesting look at it though, in terms of the HR model picking up on the reflectivity values of the rotation with these cells. It's quite impressive that you can actually see this on the HRR model. But by 4 to 5 o'clock, again, we're gonna have a lot of these storms rotating during the early to mid-afternoon hours, and again, tornado threat will really start to ramp up between about 3 to 7 o'clock. So really be mindful of that. If you're in Louisiana and East Texas near Jasper or Center or Beaumont, those areas will be impacted probably during the afternoon hours. Evening threat will really on-go across most of Louisiana. Again, a lot of these storms could very well be rotating, and you can almost see it on every single cell actually that has that little hook. Now, that doesn't mean every single storm here will have a tornado. It just means that a lot of these will probably be rotating with how strong the low-level winds and the low-level jet are here across the state of Louisiana. So it's gonna, again, be a pretty impressive setup. By 6 to 7 o'clock, more storms are going to be firing up still. Eventually, by about 8 to 9 o'clock, we'll still have some storm activity ongoing. Tornado threat should start to lower after about 9 or 10 o'clock. And this is when I might be able to go live. I do have 2 finals tomorrow, by the way, for those that are wondering. So I do have 2 final exams. I will not be able to go live during the afternoon. I might be able to during the evening if there's anything still left over. But this will be the area that will be watching for the potential for maybe some damaging winds or a couple of tornadoes still remaining by about 1 to 2 in the overnight hours. So going to the overnight hours Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, there will still be some storm activity out there. We still could see a couple of brief tornadoes overnight Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So make sure you have a way to receive alerts if you're in Louisiana. By Wednesday morning into Wednesday afternoon, there will still be some storm activity ongoing, which will lead to another chance for severe weather going into Wednesday and Thursday. We have 4 straight days of severe weather. All 4 days are at least slight risks of severe weather. We actually have a chance on both Wednesday and Thursday that I'll get to here in just a moment. And this is the low-level jet, by the way. For those that are wondering, what is the low-level jet? This essentially is what is helping to rotate these supercells in kind of like the mid-level of the atmosphere. So back over here in Louisiana, this is right around when those storms will fire up. The low-level jet is going to be right between 40 to 50 knots, which is about a moderate low-level jet. That should be able to help rotate some of these supercells here over in Louisiana as well as in East Texas. And by the evening hours, we're still talking about a pretty strong low-level jet around 50 knots across the state of Louisiana. And now when we go a little bit lower into the atmosphere, closer to about 850 millibars, which is closer to the surface, we still have a pretty strong winds there, which is going to help to be able to rotate some of these cells. That is why there's a chance for a few tornadoes tomorrow. And again, a couple of those could very well be strong and potentially long-tracked with the environment that we have, especially in central Louisiana. So if you're in central Louisiana, again, have a way to receive alerts and have a plan in place for sure tomorrow. All right, severe weather potential heading into the following day. This is into Wednesday. There's a slight risk for severe weather. Does include Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. This is for the potential for damaging winds, maybe a couple of storms with isolated quarter-sized hail, but the biggest concerns are damaging winds and a few tornadoes. So this will be an area to watch for pretty closely for that concern in terms of severe weather. Take a breather here for just a second. Also, going into the southeast on Thursday, there is a slight risk for severe weather. That will include southeast Georgia, and almost the entire state of Florida is included in a slight risk of severe weather. And this isn't very common, by the way, for this time of the year, even in Florida. For having a slight risk of severe weather. So if you're in Florida or southeast Georgia, be mindful. There's already a slight risk for severe weather. Then damaging winds is currently the main concern. I'll have more details for you on a forecast coming up with that, because again, that's a few days out from now. This is the timing though for Mississippi and Alabama. We'll have some storm activity tomorrow evening, so you won't really see much in the afternoon. Evening is when we could see a couple of severe storms in western and southwest Mississippi. Again, if there were to be any significant tornado threat, it's going to be down in this direction of Mississippi. So basically southwest of Jackson, Mississippi is where we have the most significant tornado threat right now for the state of Mississippi. Overnight hours, some showers, a few storms are going to be ongoing. Again, these could potentially produce some damaging winds and maybe some hail. Overall, though, it's going to be mainly a damaging wind threat with any of those storms overnight. By the morning hours, again, a brief tornado or two may exist, and eventually going into a Wednesday afternoon, we'll have maybe a couple of tornadoes again down here on the Gulf Coast of Florida, or excuse me, the Gulf Coast of really Mississippi or Alabama. Could even impact Florida too during the later half of Wednesday. So definitely keep that in mind there. Also, the timing for Thursday, if you are in Florida, just something to keep in mind. Again, we'll have some severe weather rolling through the state as early as actually Thursday morning. Line of storms will move through the region. By Thursday afternoon, storms will be still rolling through areas like Tampa and Sarasota. Overall, though, severe weather is going to start to dwindle out probably during the mid to late afternoon and early evening hours. We'll have more details and specifics on timing, all that, as we get closer. Now, the big talk recently has not just been the severe weather, it is also the potential for a large-scale winter storm and blizzard. This is going to be pretty impressive, what we're probably going to see unfold here across the northern states. And this is going to be, again, we already have winter storm warnings out. We also have blizzard warnings out. We also have winter weather advisories out across several states. I didn't count all the states that are included in this. I think it's at least 15 or 20 states that are included in some sort of watch or warning at this point. But for right now, these are your blizzard warnings in effect. It does include areas in northeast Colorado, western Nebraska, western South Dakota, as well as eastern Wyoming and southeast Montana. So this is the area that we could see some blizzard-like conditions within the next 24 to 36 hours. Winter storm warnings are the ones in pink. That is going to represent your potential within the next 24 to 48 hours of some really hefty snowfall. We're talking the potential for several feet of snow. Winter storm watches are in effect in these purple boxes, and we also have winter weather advisories out for northern Wisconsin and as well as the upper Michigan Peninsula. A closer look at everything, just kind of give you an idea of watches and warnings. I'll keep it on the screen here for just a second. Again, this is your blizzard warnings, this is your winter storm warnings, and this is also your winter storm watches, and these are both the same abbreviation, but these are watches here, so watches here, and then your warning is here, so just kind of give you an idea there. All right, let me get back to chat real quick, and then we'll go into more details on the rest of this here in just a second. Thank you, Jaws, by the way, for becoming a 4-month VIP Chaser member. Let's get some claps in the chat for Jaws. I really appreciate that, as well as Proxima for the $25 super chat. I really do appreciate that. All right, again, I'll be answering questions here in a little bit, so we'll have a whole session on questions and stuff like that. Thank you, DK, as well, for becoming a 2-month VIP Chaser member. Let's get claps in the chat for that as well. That's a huge commitment here to the Max Velocity YouTube channel. Appreciate that. All right, let's start going through some of this other stuff now. Again, I had to get a breather there for a second. I've been talking a lot. All right, let's go over to the, as well as into the Midwest in terms of watches and warnings right now. Again, I would expect this stuff to get upgraded eventually, but for right now, we do have winter storm watches in effect for areas like Minneapolis, goes through northern Iowa, as well as western Wisconsin. Winter storm warnings in effect back up through most of Mississippi for the most part, as well as back even through areas in the Dakotas. And then again, this is your winter weather advisories right now. That is for the potential for winter weather here in the next couple of days, but that'll again be for northern Wisconsin as well as the upper Michigan Peninsula. Let's talk about timing. Let's talk about really everything that's going to be happening here across these states over the next 24 to 48 hours. And overnight tonight is when we'll really start to see blizzard-like conditions ramp up significantly, especially across areas like South Dakota all the way back through western Nebraska. This is the region that will start to see really a lot of more ramped up action in terms of snowfall activity. So again, make sure that you're aware of this. If you have any driving plans, I don't recommend it, especially across these states. If you're under a blizzard warning, you are recommended to stay home with how significant these conditions will be. Going into Tuesday morning, again, we'll still have some snow out there. You can see these darker blues are going to represent probably your heavier snowfall. Lighter snow is going to be these lighter blues, so you can kind of see out here on the edge of this low pressure system will be down here, is where we'll have lighter snow here. This is your heavier snow. Jaws just donated $500. Okay, I did not expect that. Thank you very much, Jaws. I really do appreciate that. I don't really have any words. You definitely you definitely broke me. Jesus. Thank you, Jaws. I appreciate that. That is a very, very generous donation. Get some claps in the chat for Jaws. Holy moly. I appreciate that a lot, Jaws. Thank you very much. It really goes a long way. Hey, I haven't streamed in a month, so maybe save that up. I appreciate that a lot. Happy holidays. I really do appreciate that. Wow, that really just came out of nowhere. Let's go study for those finals now, right? Yeah, that's the end of the stream right now. JJ, I'll look at it here in a little bit. Hey, Tracy, you're good. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much again. And I just went speechless there for a second. Holy crap. Jesus. I appreciate that a lot, Josh. Thank you very much. All right. Let's get back to the timing and all that sort of stuff. And again, I really do appreciate that. If you haven't already, put some claps in the chat for Jaws. That is so generous. Holy moly. All right, let's get back to the timing on this winter storm here. Again, going into Tuesday morning is when we'll have a lot of the snow really ramp up. So some moderate to heavy snowfall, again, from South Dakota, really across much of South Dakota, all the way back through western Nebraska and as well as northeast Colorado. Going into around lunchtime, we actually could have a mixture of rain and as well as snow, and pretty much across areas like southwest Minnesota, as well as into eastern South Dakota, is where we could see that snow and rain action start to ramp up. So a little transition there. Can't rule out a little bit of freezing rain, so a little bit of ice is not out of the question. And western Mississippi, or I keep saying Mississippi, western Minnesota or eastern portions of South Dakota. Also going across areas in South Dakota and northern portions of Nebraska is where we could see some very heavy snow. There is going to be a potential outside of there. Again, this is all your light snow activity here. This is your heavy snow. Again, that's where we're really watching for the potential for some blizzard-like conditions in this circled area where that heavy snow does fall, where we could see, again, several feet of snow. During the evening hours and was when we'll have that low pressure system really become super defined here. Pretty impressive low pressure system. Again, this is all the snow on the outside. Lighter snow will begin to kind of transform across the western half of this low. So again, western portions of South Dakota, Nebraska, as well as northeast Colorado. Heavier snow will begin in areas like Minnesota. So if you're in Minnesota, heavy snow is expected tomorrow evening in those states. Going into the overnight hours, we'll have some light to moderate snow still ongoing. A lot of this action, though, will become much lighter heading into Wednesday, so there still might be some light snow remaining. This will not create too many travel impacts on Wednesday, but the snow and ice that we see on Tuesday could still be creating some travel impacts for unsalted roads and untreated roads there across those states. So keep that in mind. Again, take it slow on the roadways if you're traveling on either day. Now, I do want to bring up the Weather Prediction Center's forecast real quick on the... I literally, I don't have words. I really don't. Jaws with the 50 gifted memberships as well. I really do not have words. Let's get some claps in the chat again for Jaws, who just gifted 50 members to the community. If you received a gifted membership, by the way, make sure to thank him. Jeez, I do not have any, I really do not have any words. It's very, very generous. Again, I really do appreciate your support. That is extremely generous. These notifications are going to play for a while, so I am going to try. Hope I can maybe skip through. I don't know if I can even skip through these notifications. These are going to be going for a while here. Hey, I appreciate that a lot, Jaws. Thanks again. Hey, thank you, Mobile, by the way, for the 3 months. That's Tornado Chaser. Appreciate that as well. Thank you. Again, I appreciate that a lot. Thank you again for the very generous 50 gifted members. If you have not already, put some claps in the chat for Jaws. If you got a gifted membership, again, make sure to thank Jaws. Let me turn down at least the volume here on these alerts while we are talking about some of this stuff. We'll turn it back on once all these tornado notifications go by, or all the membership notifications go by. All right, let's go back into the winter storm impacts. Again, this is kind of give you an idea of what we can expect in terms of winter storm impacts from this winter storm over the next 1 to 3 days. Let me make sure this is updated real quick. And yeah, okay, so it looks like it's updated. So this is where we could see some major impacts as those red shaded areas, which does include, again, central and western South Dakota, goes through southeastern portions of Montana, and as well as some parts of southern North Dakota. Also into northwest Nebraska, that's where blizzard-like conditions could occur. There very well could be some major impacts there as well. Purples are going to represent your extreme impacts across areas in southwest South Dakota as well. I don't know if you guys can see this on my screen, but in extreme eastern and northeastern portions of Minnesota is where we could also see the potential. Is my sound still going here? Or is it just on my end? Oh, it's just on mine. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, back into northeast Minnesota, though, is where we also could see the potential here for some major impacts and maybe even some extreme impacts as well. And DK with the 20 gifted memberships. Guys, I know I haven't streamed in a month, but that's extremely generous. I really do appreciate it. This goes a long way. I really do not have any words. Thank you again, Jaws, for the 50, and as well as DK for the 20 gifted memberships. If you guys received a gifted membership, by the way, make sure to thank them in the chat. Is this a category 2 or 3 substorm? I would say this is a category 4. It's pretty close to a category 5. Back to the winter storm. Again, this is your impact list. So again, this is your minor impacts. So this is minor impacts here in the yellow. Moderate impacts is the orange, and then also major impacts is the red, and then in the purple is going to be your extreme impacts. Let me try to get through the rest of this before we start getting more notifications here. This is your snowfall totals here over the upcoming 24, 48 hours, even potentially over the next 3 days. There could be some pretty substantial snow across all of these states. I mean, we're talking significant snowfall totals across the Dakotas, as well as even through northern Minnesota, and as Jaws with another 20 gifted. Okay, let me try to get through this first. Again, several feet of snow is possible across these states. We could very well see some significant snowfall as well in southwest South Dakota. This is where blizzard-like conditions are going to be possible as well. We could see upwards of 2 to 3 feet of snow in these areas. So make sure you're taking, again, very slow on the roadways. And I would not recommend driving, again, when it's snowing, especially with the blizzard-like conditions. Strong winds blowing snow is going to create a mess out there. Again, no recommendation to drive whatsoever if you're in that blizzard warning at this point. But again, significant snowfall is expected across the Dakotas, Wisconsin, Minnesota, as well as Nebraska, and into southeast Montana and northeast portions of Wyoming. So again, make sure you're taking it safe on the roadways out there. Midwest as well, by the way, is going to have some snowfall out of this as well. It's going to begin as rain for most of the areas like Chicago and Wisconsin. Unless you're in northern and northwest Wisconsin, you might see some snow earlier than that. But this will be the area that will probably end up seeing a lot more rain, at least for Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. Going into Thursday and Friday, we could get some snow on these outer bands. We even could get some heavy snow going into early Thursday morning. That could potentially accumulate to several inches of snow. And then eventually by Friday, that low pressure system will kind of sit overhead in the Midwest. This could potentially bring maybe an additional 1 to 2 inches of snow with the lighter stuff that we see there in Wisconsin. So definitely be something to watch out for there. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, still going to see some lingering light snow, maybe a little bit of lake effect snow as well there. Also going to the snowfall totals for those into these areas from Wisconsin back into Minnesota. Again, this is your current or at least estimated, I should say. Again, go to your local news station or National Weather Service for more specific details on how much snow you might see. This is just an estimate, but for right now, we could see upwards of a foot in northern Wisconsin. Outside of there, we're still talking about a few inches. Chicago will probably be left out of much of any snow. You might get maybe a brief little dusting or coating in Chicago. I don't expect much beyond that right now with how things are currently shaping up. Also going to New England, by the way, New England will actually have a potential for some snow going into this really late week. So around Friday, maybe into early Saturday, there could be some snow out there as well. Maybe a mixture, so you might get some additional snowfall. I know some areas in New England just saw some snow yesterday. More of that is going to be coming going into really Friday, late Thursday night into Friday, and potentially going to early Saturday morning. We might still have some snow lingering there. And then also going into the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from Sunday to next Thursday, we're going to have much colder weather coming out of the Arctic. So we're going to be really talking about the potential for temperatures to really get cold in the United States. Well below average temperatures are forecasted across much of the United States over the next 6 to 10 days. And eventually going from next Tuesday into the following Monday, so around Christmas, we could have some very cold air meeting you there for Christmas and right around that Christmas time frame. So for those in the Midwest especially, much colder weather is expected then. All right. Oh my God, you guys are going crazy. Thank you, Jaws, for another 20 gifted memberships. Thank you, DK, for another 20 gifted memberships. Thank you, Jaws, again for another 10 gifted memberships. And thank you, Jaws, again for another 20 gifted memberships. Holy, I can't even see chat. I don't know if anybody's actually asked questions yet. I can't even see the chat. It's going so fast. Again, if you've gotten a gifted membership, make sure to thank Jaws in the chat or DK, whoever you got it from. They are being extremely generous tonight. Early Christmas gifts at this point. I really do appreciate the very generous support from both of them. And if you, by the way, if you become a member, you can go ahead and use your benefits. You're a Tornado Chaser member if you get a membership, so you can go ahead and watch the bloopers videos and all that sort of stuff if you do not already get a gifted membership. So, all right. Let me get some questions here. Let's kind of go over the other stuff as well. Let me actually go over to, I wanted to go to something. I kind of forgot with everything that's going on. Temperatures. I want to show you the specific temperatures real quick for the entire United States here. Let's go to the temperatures and let's go nationwide here for next week. This is currently the forecasted high temperatures next Sunday, by the way. This is for next Sunday. So, can you guys hear that music, by the way? I don't know if I can actually turn that off or not. where that's coming from. Is it just coming from OBS? I never had that happen before. But yeah, let me actually do this real quick. Let me just turn down my sound volume to this. There we go. All right, so yeah, again, this is the high temperatures forecasted for this upcoming Sunday. It's going to get really cold next Sunday. Again, this is the potential for high temperatures being sub-zero in the Dakotas and as well as into Montana. So it's going to get, again, very cold next week without a doubt up that direction. So just keep that in mind. Again, if you're back over in Montana or any of those states up in the north, it's going to get really cold. Low temperatures are going to even be worse. Almost the entire United States, except Florida and a good chunk of Texas, Louisiana, also parts of like California and whatnot, will be below freezing. So again, it's going to get really cold this upcoming weekend. Temperatures as well up into the north, sub-zero. We could be talking about temperatures below 10 degree or 10 below zero. So again, it's going to get really cold up that direction. Also, let's go over to the wind chills real quick. Thank you, Lolly, for becoming a 6-month storm chaser member. I appreciate that, Lolly. Thank you. I am back. I know, it's been a month. After a month, we've gotten, like, I don't know how many gifted memberships we're up to right now. I think it's like 150. It's insane. Wind chills, by the way. Let's go to the wind chills real quick. This is the wind chills forecasted for this upcoming Sunday. I'm going to go hop over to that. This is for this upcoming Sunday, by the way. Again, it's going to get really cold this upcoming weekend. This is by Sunday. Wind chills into the potentially 25 to 30 degrees below zero, back up into the northern half of the United States, really specifically in the Dakotas, as well as into Montana. So again, it's going to get extremely cold this upcoming weekend. So if you have any plans, I would recommend not making them, because I don't know how in the world that these people can bear with this sort of weather. I honestly, I live in Florida. I cannot get past the 30s or 40s at this point. It is so hard for me to go outside when it's under 50 degrees. But yeah, this is going to be, again, it's going to get really cold next week across those states. Thank you, DK, for another 10 gifted memberships. I really do appreciate it. Holy moly, you guys are absolutely insane. How many gifted memberships we're up to? How many is that? 50? 70, 90, 110. I don't know how many that is. I literally couldn't even tell you. I can't even scroll all the way over because of how many gifted memberships we've had. Yeah, if you've gotten a gifted membership, make sure to thank them in the chat. Yeah, I think 150. Yeah, okay. This is a category 5 gifted membership stream. All right, let me go ahead and open the Q&A chat up if I can do that. If you have questions, there should be a little Q&A. And you can go ahead and ask in the Q&A section about any questions that you have. So if you have any questions, leave those in that specific chat room. At least we'll make it more organized, because this chat has just been getting spammed. All right, let's see. Is there going to be a tornado watch tomorrow in Central Texas? I mean, it depends on where you are in Central Texas. Or what you consider Central Texas. If you're talking about like Abilene, for example, I doubt it. The only area where I would expect a tornado watch tomorrow will probably be in this area here. I don't even know if it would go this far to the west, but it will probably include this region here. If there was to be a tornado watch, which I would expect at this point, there probably will be a tornado watch. So this again would be the region that we see that tornado watch if there were to be one. Hey Kyler, how you doing? Welcome back. How's it going? Yeah, I haven't streamed in a month, so it's been a while. Hey Devin, how you doing? Snow in DFW. You know, if you guys want to talk about a little bit of hype real quick, I see hype forecasts on Facebook all the time. It's interesting to look at, so we'll take a quick look at it. Just, obviously, this is not an official forecast or anything like that, what I'm about to show you. This is going into, let's go to the Southern Plains real quick. This is next week. Or the following week. This is actually this is the GFS model next week. This is actually possible. I wouldn't put your hopes up on it right now, but this is actually a possibility. So this is not really hype. This is actually definitely a possibility, but it's a low chance right now, but it's not zero. But going into the like 300-hour time frame, actually, I don't know if GFS actually shows it anymore. At one point, it showed a winter storm in South Texas, which was kind of crazy. Yeah, right here. And again, this is why you never look at the GFS model ever 200 hours or later out, because it's almost never right. This is just ridiculous. I mean, we're not talking about snow into Louisiana or anything like this. This is obviously just a bunch of hype. So it's interesting to look at, though. There's actually a good possibility, though, that it'll get cold across Texas, and we're going to stay below average in terms of temperatures across the state going into next week. Let's go to the temperature anomalies. And this gives you an idea of what we can expect for temperatures. Blues are below average, red is above average. So really this week, again, this is where the low pressure system will be. Naturally, we're gonna have warmer and more humid air on the east side of it, as well as drier and colder air coming out of Canada. The only exception is there might be a little bit of snow on the west side of this trough over the next several days, or actually there will definitely be. Again, cooler air over the next several days on the back end of that trough. By the weekend, again, colder weather is ushering in out of Canada, especially across the Central Plains. Eventually going next week, it'll get pretty cold across the Midwest by the weekend. But by next week, we'll have that potential for another trough to enter into the, or really into Canada, but it will actually impact the United States, which with cooler air, I can't talk. And this could potentially bring a pretty strong cold blast going into near Christmas time. Now, I'm not going to say anything too much beyond there, because again, this is 250 hours out almost, but there's actually a decent possibility of some sort of big cool down, even colder than it would probably be by this weekend, going into around the Christmas time frame with the current setup that's currently ongoing. Future ensembles are also kind of showing it, so it's possible. Won't say it's definitely guaranteed by any means, but it's definitely a possibility. All right, let me get some questions here. Let's go back over to the severe weather here. Yeah, get ready for the GFS model showing 200 hours out that there's going to be blizzards in Florida. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the nature of it. Again, if you guys are, obviously, for those that are watching right now, I will give you a big hint of advice. If you ever see somebody post about, it has like multiple paragraphs about a potential winter storm, winter fantasy, whatever, over 200 hours out, I would probably just ignore it unless it's an official meteorologist or the National Weather Service or something like that, because I can almost guarantee you they almost never happen. It really takes something really, really solid for anything like that to ever happen over 200 hours out on any computer model. It's not accurate. It never really is. We see it all the time, and we're in the winter season, by the way. If you're on Facebook, on Instagram, or on whatever, even on YouTube sometimes, you'll see these people posting about these big Arctic blasts and blizzards. They're gonna bring all this stuff, and they're showing stuff 300 hours out. It's almost never accurate. Just, again, check your sources before ever trusting them, because again, there's a lot of hype during this time of the year when we have a lot of these computer models that go this far out and they show you something and it never actually happens. I mean, it's really not worth really looking into much unless it's something that, again, really the National Weather Service or a meteorologist actually brings up, because again, typically it's not right, and I almost guarantee you it's never right, because I've never run into a situation where I see something 300 hours out and it's perfect and exactly what's going to happen. So just a little word of advice if you're ever on social media, because I see it all the time on Facebook during this time of the year. I've already begun to see huge snowstorms coming to Texas for Christmas time when it's obviously not going to happen. So, or it's possible, but obviously it's probably not going to happen. All right, let's go back over to, by the way, this is the tornado threat for tomorrow. I know a lot of you guys are wondering blizzard and severe weather threats and whatnot. Obviously we have two different situations. We have severe weather. We have even a flooding potential, and it's pretty low, but there's a possibility for a little bit of flooding. But it's basically severe weather and the blizzard, winter storm, that sort of thing. So there's two big events that are ongoing. Again, this is your tornado event, basically your severe weather event. Tornadoes are going to be primarily across central and northern Louisiana, as well as eastern portions of Texas. And then obviously we have the blizzard that's expected, and this is your winter storm and blizzard. The red area is representing here your blizzard-like conditions that are expected. That's your blizzard warning, winter storm outside of that. So again, there's a huge trough that is bringing all these different weather conditions. So I know I'm gonna have a lot of differing questions here. I'll try to get through some of them. If you have questions, again, leave them in the little Q&A tab. Ask them there. Don't ask them in the general chat, because the general chat is going way too fast. So it's just easier for me to read questions there. All right, let me look at some of the questions that we've already gotten here. I'll try to get through some of them here. Are you talking about Austin, Texas, Gina? Because if you're talking about Austin, Texas, I wouldn't expect much. Maybe a passing shower or storm. Severe weather is pretty unlikely there. Is there a chance for a moderate risk of severe weather tomorrow? Yes, I would say there's a chance for it. Realistically, this is kind of, let's go and put some probabilities out there. So enhanced risk, staying at enhanced risk is probably about a 97% chance. Okay, that's just kind of my guess. I would say it's probably going to stay there. Moderate threat, I'll give about a 30 to 35% chance. It's definitely possible. High risk, I'd put below 5%, unless something drastically changes. So that's kind of my thinking. I would expect, though, enhanced risk. If a moderate threat were to get added, it would probably be in this area here, and then the enhanced risk would probably get extended a little bit further south and east. So that'd be kind of my thinking. So if this were to happen, moderate threat would probably be here, and then enhanced risk would just be outside of there. But again, I don't know if a moderate risk will actually happen. I'm not sure if the Storm Prediction Center has really brought that up either, but again, I wouldn't rule it out. It's definitely not impossible. The current setup, though, is not nearly as bad as what was originally thought about half a week ago, but it is still bad. I mean, we're still talking about several tornadoes are possible tomorrow. Again, a couple of those could be strong and long tracked. So any snow in TFW for the upcoming days? No. No. Not anytime soon. I mean, there is a possibility early next week, but I'm not going to mention it much at all because we're too far out from that. And even then, I don't think we'll see any. Yeah, if you ever have any questions about North Texas specifically, in terms of snow and all that, that information is typically always posted on my Facebook page at North Texas Weather Center. Make sure to go check that out. I think the link is in the description. So, a white Christmas in West Virginia. I don't know why people are already talking about a white Christmas this early. Again, we could talk about probabilities of a white Christmas, but other than that, I mean, it's just a guessing game. We're still 13 days out from Christmas, so yeah. Again, I'm not going to get into the conversation of a 13-day prediction on Christmas. So that goes for anything. Guys, do not spam questions, by the way. Only ask them once. Otherwise, I will not answer them. Thank you. Do you think school in South Dakota will be canceled tomorrow in the northeast area? Oh, northeast. I thought you said the southern portion. Let me go over to the snow thingy here. I don't even know where it went. I have so many tabs open. Let's go to here. Oh, nope, it's over to here. I actually have to go pull it up again. I don't know about that. I honestly don't know the process of South Dakota. The only states I really have any awareness of in terms of school cancellations and stuff are like New England and Texas. That's about it. So overall, there's a possibility. I don't know if they will cancel it. That's kind of a question that is kind of hard to answer. I don't know what the criteria is of them canceling school either. I have absolutely no clue. I really don't know what South Dakota is going to do in that scenario. They could make it maybe an early release because the heavy snow probably will not start until just after lunchtime or right around then. They might do an early release, maybe. I don't know. That's kind of my guess. Again, I couldn't really tell you. I'm not the superintendent or whatever they call them. So. But yeah, it's kind of my thinking at this point. Let's see. Any possibility of a nor'easter? Yeah, there's a possibility. I've seen it on the computer models. I'm not going to really talk about it much yet. Maybe for another day or two. We'll see where the computer models are at then. But for right now, I'm not really too concerned about a nor'easter quite yet. We'll be watching it. See if anything does end up happening there. But yeah, it's not out of the question. My concern about tonight. Tonight is not really too concerning. It's more of a damaging wind threat, pretty much isolated, damaging winds up to 60. Again, that'll be primarily across western Oklahoma and central Oklahoma back into North Texas and maybe the eastern Texas panhandle and maybe even through parts of Kansas, but overall threat should stay pretty, it should stay low. Possibility for a brief tornado or two is also possible. Again, the tornado threat for tonight is right now that brown shaded region is a 5% probability within a 25-mile radius. So there's definitely a chance for maybe a couple of tornadoes out there. So yeah, there's definitely a possibility tonight. All right, let me go back to the live chat here. All right, let me read some of the questions here. Did I miss any notifications here, by the way? I don't know if I missed any other notifications. I don't think I did, right? All right, no more gifted members. All right, I think the train has stopped of all these gifted members and donations and stuff. Man, that was crazy. Again, if you guys got a gifted membership, by the way, make sure to thank Jaws or DK in the chat. They both were very generous tonight. I really do appreciate it. Also, thank you for those that have subscribed as well. I appreciate it. If you're new here, by the way, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We'll keep you posted with the latest details. No hype here, so we'll keep you updated with the latest on all the severe weather events and all that sort of stuff coming up over the upcoming days, and as well as the blizzard. Again, we have a blizzard. It's kind of crazy to think all the stuff that we got going on. It's such a, this is a system that we've been watching for several days, and it's all coming to fruition now. I mean, we're talking about snow, sleet, we're talking about basically every sort of precipitation in the books with this trough, so it's pretty impressive. Thank you, DK, for another 10 gifted memberships. I thought we were done, but I guess not. Thank you again, DK, for another 10 gifted memberships. I appreciate it. The notifications have not yet stopped on the bottom left of your screen, so I do apologize. They just keep going because people keep gifting memberships. So hopefully that will stop at some point soon. But I appreciate that again, DK, for another 10 gifted memberships. If you got a gifted membership, make sure to thank him in the chat. Appreciate that a lot. All right, let's go back over to here. Will there be any severe thunderstorm warnings in Central Texas tomorrow morning? Yeah, there's a possibility. Let's go back over to Central Texas real quick. All right, this is a look here at the timing for tonight in terms of rain and whatnot, and storms over in really North Texas. This is kind of your line overnight tonight, so 3 to 4 in the morning. By 5 to 6 o'clock, it'll probably weaken out a little bit here in the Metroplex, and by the morning hours, it's probably going to start to weaken out a bit more. Mainly damaging winds with this, maybe an isolated tornado threat as well. Again, probably like a brief tornado or two would probably be about it with this, but that's what we're looking at in terms of this line of storms that could, again, bring the potential for maybe a damaging wind threat, maybe an isolated tornado or two. Central Texas, though, again, it's a low chance, maybe an isolated severe storm there, though, down to the south near Abilene. Thank you, by the way, Deidra, hopefully I'm saying your name right, for the $5 donation. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, no problem at all. I appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate the generous donation as well. I wonder how many to gift a... I don't even know how many people we have in this chat. I think there's a lot. What's up, Connie? Oh, do you have a question, Connie? If you have a question, just ask the chat. I'll probably get to it here. I'm looking at the regular chat now, so if you're asking, I'm just going to end the Q&A thing. I can kind of read the chat now. We don't have 50 gifted members anymore coming in, so I can at least read the normal chat. Yeah, if you have questions, you can pop those in the chat. Let's go back over to the screen here for a second. Omaha, Nebraska. Let's go over to the north. Are you talking about like snowfall totals? Curious about that. Outlook for Mississippi and Alabama. Mississippi, I'll get to that here in a second. This is the outlook for Omaha, Nebraska. It's mostly going to be rain for most of the day. Hopefully this is showing on the screen. Yeah, it's showing. So for most of the day, it's just going to be rain. But by the late portions of Tuesday and the Wednesday morning, you might get a couple of snowflakes, but I wouldn't expect much. It's going to be very minimal. It looks like maybe just like a coating at the best. I think the snowfall totals that were being estimated weren't too substantial either. It was showing around 1 inch maybe, but that's kind of a broad look at it. So you might get maybe up to 1 inch or two, but I wouldn't expect too many travel impacts there in Omaha. Over into the Mississippi area, the current concern right now is going to be on Wednesday. It's mainly for damaging winds and an isolated tornado threat. That's primarily across the southern half of both of those states, so right along the Gulf Coast. From Florida back through Louisiana, damaging winds, maybe a few tornadoes are going to be possible on Wednesday. That's the biggest concern right now. Maybe late Tuesday night into Wednesday. I don't know where the timing went on here. This is the timing. So let's go through the hour-by-hour timing here across Mississippi and Alabama. So really the main concern will be during the evening hours on Tuesday if you're in western Mississippi. There might be a couple of storms out there. Damaging winds, the main concern. Might see a couple of tornadoes, though. By the overnight hours, we'll still see some showers and storms out there. This could create maybe a little flooding threat. And then eventually going closer to Wednesday around lunchtime, there'll be more storms developing. A couple of these might produce a brief tornado threat across really the southern half of Mississippi or Alabama. And Alabama will be more of a late evening threat, most likely, for severe weather, at least on Wednesday. So that's the current outlook right now. But severe weather should kind of stay, it's not low. It's kind of like the low to medium end, I would say, there right now in the Gulf Coast area. Tonight's threat, I feel like, is a bit lower than what we might see over there. I think there'll be maybe a few tornadoes across those states. It might actually kind of shape out to be something similar to that. Do you guys remember when we did the live stream where there were several tornadoes across the areas like near Pensacola, for example? I can't think of the names right now. Like Mobile, Alabama, that was the area. Mobile, Alabama, we had a bunch of tornadoes all around that area on that one live stream. It was about 3 hours long. That's what we might see happen on Wednesday. It might be something similar to that. I don't know if it'll be as bad as that, but it probably be kind of on a similar scale. So if you guys remember that. Hey, Virginia, how you doing? Welcome back. Alrighty. Grand Prairie's main concern is going to be damaging winds. Timing, I think, in the DFW Metroplex is between about 5 to 8 a.m. So yeah, for those in North Texas, again, if you guys want a full breakdown on North Texas weather, by the way, you can go to my Facebook page. There's a link in the description. I did like a 20-minute live stream earlier. That was a full breakdown on specifically just North Texas weather. Gives you everything they need to know in that live stream. So make sure to check that out for North Texas related questions. I also was doing specific details on counties and stuff like that. So Also, the latest HRR model run's coming in right now, by the way. So we'll take a look at this once it kind of comes up. This will be kind of interesting to look at here. I'm doing good, Virginia. It's been busy. I haven't streamed in a month, and it's really, I wish I could have streamed earlier, but yeah, I've just had so many exams, finals, Thanksgiving came around, and as you guys know, I had two hurricanes, as they call them, which is basically, I had 6 days off from the 2 hurricanes that hit Florida. So I had absolutely, or 7 days, I can't remember, I think it was like 7 or 8 days. It was somewhere between 6 and 8 days of school off, and it was due to the hurricanes, and it's all like stacked up all these exams here at the end of the semester, so yeah, it's definitely been kind of crazy. It's been very, very hectic, but we are finally going to have a regular uploading schedule, hopefully, back by Wednesday. That's my hope. What a stream. It's been pretty crazy. I think Jaws is done now. I think TK is done, so I think we're not going to get spammed anymore. Hope you did well on the finals. I don't know if I've done. I still have 2 finals tomorrow, so I'm really only doing I'm doing this live stream for another 20-ish minutes or so. This stream is only supposed to be an hour anyways, but yeah, I won't be again. I will not have a live stream most likely tomorrow. I know it's a big event, but again, I have 2 finals tomorrow. They're going to be right when the severe weather's happening. I might be able to go live though after 8 p.m. Central. There's a possibility if there's still severe weather out there, I might go live after 8 p.m. No guarantees yet. I've got to see what my schedule looks like and when I get home and all that sort of stuff. So we'll see what happens. But again, I have 2 finals and all that. So the Sierra Storm, thousands are without power. That Sierra Storm was insane. You know, California's seen a lot of rain this year. I know somebody that lives in, I think, San Francisco, and they were saying they've seen like multiple days of rain. They only have like 5 or 6 days a year apparently of rain, and they've seen like, you know, like weeks of rain now this year. It's interesting. Seen a lot of rain this year. Yeah, we got the latest HRR model run coming in, so we'll take a gander at that here pretty soon once it all comes in. Yeah, school is definitely more important. I do put a lot more time, or yeah, I do put a lot more time into school, obviously, so. Jelly, yes, you are now a Tornado Chaser member. No problem, Lee. By the way, if you got a gifted membership from either DK or Jaws, just make sure to thank them if you've not already. Thank you, Lee, by the way, for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you, Jaws, for another 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Thanks, Phil. I appreciate it. It's cold. It is cold. I would agree with you. Florida's about to get cold, too. Florida is actually about to drop into the 40s and 50s. Weak rotation south of Goodland, Kansas. Let's take a quick look at that. Let's go over to the other screen here. The weak rotation potentially. Oh, we actually have a snow squall warning in effect over there in currently in Colorado, I believe. My state lines haven't updated here yet. Go over to the live radar real quick. Take a look at that storm. Gotta go over to here real quick. And let's put on the live radar. And yeah, apparently we have a snow squall warning in effect over here near Alamosa. Let's actually, real quick, take a look at this. I don't know if I have precipitation lines on here. I have not done a snow stream yet this year, so that'd probably be a... Yeah, there we go. So there was a little bit of snow out here. Can't really see it on this radar set, but yeah, apparently there's a snow squall warning. A little rarity there. Actually, that's more common now because of the National Weather Service just implemented that recently. All right, so this is the storm I'm assuming you're talking about with a little bit of weak rotation. Actually, it does look like there is a little bit of rotation here. There you go. A little bit of rotation there. That's near Russell, or it's gonna be going towards Russell Springs here over the next little while, so... Yeah, apparently there's a little bit of a rotating cell here. That's south of Wallace, south of Route 40, southeast of Goodland. Also, this storm apparently has produced pea-sized hail in the past. So yeah, again, a little bit of rotation here. It's not too strong, but it's definitely kind of in the moderate, or kind of like the broad to maybe moderate stage right now. So southeast of Wallace going towards Russell Springs. So if you're in Kansas, just a little heads up, a little bit of a rotating cell there. Oh, so this new snow squall warning that they actually just issued another one. These new snow squall warnings, I'll kind of give you the context to it in kind of like a broad sense of things. They're pretty much just for like heavy snowfall rates, like blinding conditions almost. It's basically like a severe thunderstorm warning almost, but it's more for like just heavy snow and really tough traveling conditions, if you know what I mean. So if we kind of zoom in back on here, this is like the context of it from the National Weather Service. It kind of shows you. So this actually says a dangerous snow squall was located near Alamosa. Intense bursts of heavy snow and gusty winds are leading to blowing snow. So there's also some blowing snow here. Rapidly falling visibility. It's kind of like a fog. It's almost like fog, for example, like dense fog. But obviously it's snow. It's blowing snow. So kind of put it to in a different sense, but yeah, travel becomes basically pretty dangerous with this. So yeah, we have another snow squall warning here. I don't know if we really have any good radar views here. I don't think we do. I think the mountains are kind of putting it hard to see over this, unfortunately. I don't... Maybe Albuquerque shows it? No, it doesn't. So yeah, unfortunately, I can't really see it. Unless we go to this radar. Maybe it'll show it on here. Yeah, there we go. So this is our snow squall right here in southern portions of Colorado. So let's look at it there. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting stuff, but yeah. It's a new thing. It's new. I think it's like within the last year. Yes, Brady, you are. Yeah, it's like a mini blizzard. There you go. Josh put it in a good way. You are not timed out, please. I don't... Maybe the bot timed you out for like 10 seconds. Not sure why. Yeah, again, got a little bit of snow there. We actually have a special weather statement that just got issued up here, by the way. This cell is the one that was rotating. So again, if you're south of Goodland, Kansas, just a little heads up, there's a storm here that was rotating just a little bit. A little bit of rotation. Pretty broad right now, but might be something to watch. It'll be going towards Winona and Russell Springs, Kansas. Long-term, Oakley, Colby will be in the track of it. Again, there's a potential for severe weather tonight. Brief tornado is not impossible tonight, so little low-end tornado potential with this. This is the current severe threat for tonight. That is the slight risk. It does extend back up there near Goodland, Kansas. Goes all the way back through northwest North Texas. So Wichita Falls, Oklahoma City are all included in that threat right now for tonight. So just a little heads up there. If you have any, again, if you're out there tonight, make sure that you're aware that there's a potential for a little bit of severe weather tonight. We also just got our most recent Storm Prediction Center update on the severe weather threat for tonight. Not really any big concerning changes. Still a slight risk from Oklahoma City back through Wichita Falls, and then also back through western Kansas. So I don't think there's really any major updates here at all. And what's crazy is that there are blizzard warnings in effect over here, northeast Colorado and whatnot, and there's a marginal threat of severe weather tonight. That is something that you hardly ever see. That is pretty remarkable. So, crazy stuff. Snow is gross. Stay out of Texas. Yeah, snow. I don't like snow anymore. Snow is way too hard to shovel. It gets, it's nice a couple of times a year, but I can't deal with it for, you know, several feet by any means. It's something that is just not possible. All right, let me back over to this screen real quick. Let's turn back on this, and let's go over to here. These subscribe, man, you guys gifted so many memberships. The notifications are still going on my screen. They've been going on for the last like 40 minutes. I've got to somehow fix that, because that is... The amount of gifted memberships that we've gotten are still going here on the bottom left of your screen. That is insane. I apologize for those that are getting their eyes worn out from those things. I'll have to fix that next time. Should be the last member notification? I have no clue. Apparently Hunter is the last one. I don't even know how close we are to that. Alright, somebody asked a question. I missed it. Let me see what that question was again. Yeah, snowfall rates are upwards of 2 to 3 inches an hour with the snow squalls. They're typically 2 to 3 inches with almost all of them. So all the time. Man, where did this question go? By the way, thank you guys for subscribing. For those that subscribe tonight, I appreciate it. If not already, by the way, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. I would appreciate it. We'll keep you updated with the latest on severe weather, blizzards, all that sort of stuff in the near future. Again, I'll have another 5 to 10 minutes on this live stream, so if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know in the chat. But yeah, again, 5-10 more minutes. So just ask your last second questions here. And then I'll have to go study for my 2 exams tomorrow. I can't wait. See you later, Brady. Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you, DK, for the $5 super chat. Any severe weather risk in Atlanta tomorrow? No. Or Wednesday, sorry. No. Not Wednesday. There might be some rain, but I don't think you'll see any severe weather. Let's quickly look at that. We'll take a little glance here, see if you're actually going to see any rain. I don't know if you'll see it. You won't see any severe weather, but yeah, not really any rain either. Be pretty much dry, maybe a little bit of drizzle. That'd be about it. Hey Rita, how you doing? Appreciate you stopping by. I know, Devin, it's crazy. I haven't grown at all in the last month. I think I lost a few subscribers in the past 30 days because I'm not really gone live. Videos have been inconsistent, so it's one of those things. It's been such a hectic month. Like, it's literally been so busy with everything that's going on. So yeah, I'm glad though it's coming to an end. Tomorrow is the last day of exams. Thank God I'm done with them. They've taken, it feels like an eternity, but also if you haven't hit the like button, make sure to hit the like button in the stream. I forgot to mention that. Will Virginia get any severe weather this week or next week? I don't think so, no. They're not really in the forecast for severe weather. Next time you'll see severe weather probably won't be until, like, next spring. Will I be live on Thursday? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Wednesday and Thursday I might go live. We'll see. Ohio, severe weather? Are you talking about severe weather in Ohio? No. No, Jelly. My Discord. If you want to join our Discord server, by the way, make sure to join our Discord server. I'll put the link in the chat. If you want to join, Nightbot will put the link there. So, physics and English are the 2 exams that I have. Physics is a pain, by the way. It's like not easy. Some people think physics is easy, but trust me, the physics that is taught in college is like much harder than high school. But I've gotten hundreds on both of the exams in there, but I have a final that's going to be covering absolutely everything and more, so it's going to be even more, it's probably going to be much harder. Physics is as bad as calculus. Yeah, I would say it's probably right around the same ballpark there. No problem, Phil. Torcon is 5. I have no clue. I don't know what the Torcon is. I don't really ever pay attention to the Torcon. I used to when I was younger, but I don't watch the Weather Channel as much as I used to. When I was like 10 years old, I'd always be watching it. Physics is essentially a bunch of word problems. It's quite weird. It's like a bunch of word problems, though. And it's kind of like calculus-based stuff, too. Antiderivatives, derivatives, all this other stuff. There's a possibility for a couple of strong tornadoes, Phoenix. So, definitely not out of the question. Oh, Jelly, you're good. If anybody spammed me, it was both Jaws and DK. I couldn't see the chat for a good 5 minutes. But no, you're good. As long as you're not, like, copy and pasting the same question over and over, you'll be fine. Anything about the meteorologist? Yeah, for those that are wondering, by the way, I know a lot of you guys probably heard, I posted it on a bunch of places, but yeah, I got contacted about a meteorologist position in Missouri. If you haven't heard about it, this is maybe new news to you, but I actually got contacted about a meteorologist position at a local station in Missouri. I don't have any plans to drop out of school for a meteorologist position, so, or even continue school outside of that to be a meteorologist right now. It's too early, and running a YouTube page and Facebook while being in college is pretty much the peak of what I can really do right now, so I'd rather just do that right now. It's a bit easier for me. It's much more convenient than having to move and do all this other stuff. So for right now, I don't have any plans to do it, but there's a possibility this summer I get a job in Florida or something along those lines, maybe in Texas or something like that. I might do like a little meteorologist job or something, but I don't know. We'll see. But for right now, I'm going to keep doing this. I don't have any plans to change out of it. I mentioned it because it was kind of cool. I've been contacted once before about getting about a meteorologist position, but it wasn't nearly as serious. This one was a bit more serious, and this is a pretty big station too over in Missouri. So, but Waco shouldn't be too bad, Lonnie. You should be fine. It's gonna be mainly, if anything, an isolated storm or two. Damaging winds is like my only concern that far south. Hey Jen, how you doing? Yeah, no, I got yeah, I basically got a job offer. It's pretty crazy. I'm not even halfway through college, which is like, you know, it's even more crazy in that regard. So this mesoscale discussion. Let me go over to the software real quick. We'll take one last look at this, and I'm probably gonna end the stream. We have to go get studying done here. We have a mesoscale discussion, I guess, that just got issued. Doesn't show on here, it looks like. For some reason. Let me take a real quick look and see what that looks like here. Yeah, it's a pretty small mesoscale discussion. It's pretty much across this area here. It says watch possible, apparently, but I wouldn't expect much of a severe thunderstorm watch here. Isolated damaging winds, isolated tornado threat in this area here. Isolated large hail, damaging winds, and a tornado threat will be possible. Storms are expected to increase in coverage. So if you're in the panhandle of Texas, the Oklahoma panhandle, or southwest Kansas, this is where we might start to see a little bit of severe weather ramp up here over the next couple of hours. Hey Mayo, how you doing? Welcome back. Jaws, I will not be streaming tomorrow, most likely. If anything, I'll be maybe streaming tomorrow night. Wednesday, I'm not sure about yet. Thursday, I'm also not sure about. I'll post updates on Discord if I do end up going live either of those days. Brian, how'd you know? You see about the new position there? That's the one I got contacted by. It's actually crazy that you even mentioned it. US, I try. It's hard to answer as many questions that are in chat, so I wish I could shout out everybody as much as I used to. It's not possible. I try to interact with the chat as much as I possibly can. You don't understand how hard it is. It might look easy, but with how how fast the chat flies and how detailed I give of answers, it's typically not easy to get to every single question. So how's my day? It's going well. It's going well. Not too bad. It's been busy. I've been mostly just studying for exams. So, and I'm about to go do that again here in a second. So, tanks, it's possible, but right now I'm saying it's kind of on the unlikely end, but it's definitely possible. I wouldn't rule it out. Alrighty, that's gonna be it for the stream tonight. Again, if you have any questions, comment them on a video. I'll probably get to some of them. I'll try to at least. I have exams tomorrow, so I'm gonna be really studying for those here in a second. I appreciate everybody tuning in, though. If you become a member tonight, make sure, or I appreciate it. If you also got gifted a membership by either Jaws or DK, again, make sure to thank them if you've not already. I appreciate your support. Again, they went insane. I appreciate you, DK and Jaws, again. It really does mean the world. Goes a long way. Really do appreciate it. Thank you, Proxima, for the $5 or the $25 super chat earlier if you're still here. And the other couple of donations that we had earlier as well. I appreciate it. If you haven't already, though, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you've not already. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm hoping again to go live on either Wednesday or Thursday. I might go live tomorrow night. It will probably be after most of the event is done with if I go live tomorrow night. So again, I'll not be live during the afternoon. Unfortunately, I have 2 exams that are unfortunately conflicting with the severe weather event, which literally happened last time for some reason. So it's happening again. But I do appreciate everybody tuning in. Have a great, safe rest of your night, and as well as tomorrow. If you're in the zone, make sure everybody receive alerts. Have a plan in place tonight and not tomorrow. Do not do it last second. Have a plan in place now. If you know any friends or family that are in the track of these storms as well, make sure you give them a heads up, or at least give them a call that they're ready for any storms that do come their way. I appreciate everybody tuning in, guys. Have a great, safe rest of your night. And again, I appreciate DK and Jaws for the lots of gifted memberships. I really do appreciate you guys. Have a great, safe rest of your night, and we'll see you guys all again soon.